Hey everyone, let's talk about NAR, since everybody is asking me all about this nowadays. There's a lot going on, but first of all, I need to remind you that all those NAR lawsuits are happening in the Midwest, Missouri, out that way. And so our system here in the Pacific Northwest is distinctly different. Our MLS is not part of NAR, and they have done a system of things to make sure that none of these lawsuits happen here in Washington. So we have different forms and different things like that that are already in place with transparency and stuff. So the ultimate answer is it doesn't necessarily impact what we do here in Washington. I think it will impact possibly people that don't know how to negotiate over the long run. And frankly, if you don't know how to negotiate and you're a realtor, should you really be a realtor? So I think that'll be an issue there. But overall, I think it's going to be great. I believe in transparency and openness, so there's no real reason to worry. Now, beginning in 2019 and continuing to 2022, the MLS made various changes and rules to the processes to get ahead of the curve, because they saw some of the lawsuits that were coming in and they said, hey, we're going to go ahead and just get ahead of this, make sure that all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed. Even if we don't think that really is a concern here, we're going to make sure it's not an issue. So then the MLS went in cooperation with Washington Realtors and they created a new agency law agreement. And that went into effect January 1st, 2024. And as a result, it requires the service agreements to represent a buyer, which is the primary practice changes and that is basically proposed in these settlements. So that's awesome. While the rules in that are in the case and that stuff in the revised agency, it really helps with transparency, choice, and control of broker compensation. It's not going to change much or how we do business in Washington. There might be some smaller things, but overall, the MLS has said there's just a couple reminders that they wanted to make sure that they shared with us as realtors. One, we have to follow whatever the listing agreement says, the showing instructions that are on there. Is it vacant? Is it staged? Is it, what are the things that are that the seller is asking? Another part is on the key box. In other states, if the place was open and a realtor showed up, they didn't necessarily have to log in. But anytime realtors show up, they want us to log in our Super E key boxes. And that's only a fair thing to ask. And then the other piece is when you leave, make sure all windows, doors are locked. Can't imagine why you would want that. And then also, if they asked for it to be remove shoes, you remove shoes. It's mandatory. You have to do whatever they're asking for. I mean, if the house is under construction or that's a different story. But they usually have those signs, what they want us to do. Whether or not lights are turned off, alarms are tested, or find the pets. Make sure nobody snuck out. And then the last piece that they're recommending here for Washington is never leave a person, including inspectors, your clients, contractors, unattended at a listing property. And that's to protect the seller. And that's a normal thing you should be doing in the first place. But, it's just to make sure that nothing gets stolen or tampered with inappropriately or anything like that. So that's kind of the gist of it all. Now, some of the other little details might not impact buyers and sellers if the MLS chooses to do that. But at the end of the day, we're in a different world over here in the Pacific Northwest, and they are so much more ahead of the curve than the rest of the country. So not much is going to change here in the Pacific Northwest. All right. If you have any questions, reach out. Have a great one. Take care. Bye.